Welcome, Myrtle from the Dagga couple. Thank you so much for taking some time to join us on your busy day in Cape Town. And thank you for joining. And if you can just, I'm going to jump in straight away with a question. So, what were you guys doing at the Weinberg court today? I believe it was quite a big case that you're working on.
Yes, so we were offering support. We're not legally involved with the case at all, but obviously it's very, very close to our hearts because the private clubs is a very big issue in South Africa. So we were supporting the Haze Club, who were their facility, very small facility, was raided in October last year. And this is actually after their bail hearing. This is their first magistrate's court appearance. Unfortunately, we couldn't go into the courtroom. When we arrived there before 8:30 this morning, there was already a queue around the block, and they were not allowing any supporters or even the accused's family or anybody. It was only the accused and the legal team that were allowed in. So we all gathered with our good people disobey bad laws t-shirts outside. And a few passers-by joined us, which was great, recognized us, came to support. So in the end, we were about a dozen motley crew outside the court. And then at about 10 to 9, the accused were called in, and they went in. They came out about 20 minutes later, and they told us that the state have not even appointed a prosecutor for the case yet. Sure. So there wasn't even not even any introductory remarks, nothing. But we expected this. So their case has been adjourned to the last week of April. So that's, 4 months that these poor guys have to wait. But we know that this case is going to go as far as it possibly can and probably won't be resolved for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I believe so. With the bill, I believe it's a lot about the uncertainty of the judgment. So they haven't ever issued. There's the proposal, but they haven't actually issued regulations around private use or private adult use, and that's causing the complications, right?
Yes, absolutely. That is what's holding things up. And I think that it all comes down to this persistent issue of the knowledge of our lawmakers. How informed are they? How much do they know the evidence? Well, we know very, very little.
Yeah.
They can't make an informed decision. I mean, there was even one of our sort of periphery team at Fields of Green for All is a doctor. And he's quite connected here in Cape Town, and he's been speaking to quite senior political figures and to quite senior legal figures, and bringing up this thing about the fact that the judgment, we don't really talk about the bill because we want that to be rewritten, we disregard it, but the judgment itself, the September 2018 judgment, is a rich and middle class person's judgment. And none of these big legal minds or judges or doctors or politicians ever thought of that.
Yeah.
They never thought of the guy who's selling the matchbox on the corner. They never thought of what's going to happen to people in squatter camps who haven't got a private space.
Yeah.
And that was our first thought while we're still sitting in the Constitutional Court.
Yeah.
While we're still there, while the judgment was still being read, that was our first thought. So we have to get some clarity, but whether they're going to stall it because of the bill and saying they're waiting for regulations or anything. But what we know for certain after this morning is that we are still stuck in this great.
The key takeaways, I saw you were live on Facebook earlier today, and the point is, with the Dagga private clubs, the importance of today with regards to the future of Dagga private clubs, or the Haze Club's case, could potentially change the way private clubs are seen in South Africa forever, right? I mean, in the long run, it could be a precedent.
Yes, it could be a precedent, but in order for it to be a precedent, it needs to go to the High Court because precedents are not set in the magistrates' court.
I see.
So that's important to get it. We always say get it out of the gutter and to the place where you can actually speak and where people actually listen to you, and that's the High Court.
Yeah.
Actually, to us, the magistrates' court is far more intimidating than the High Court. Yeah. Because... So, and it's so amazing that it was the Haze Club that, and I mean, sorry for them, but it was amazing because I can tell you that although the accused are not in a position where they can be public yet, I can tell you that there are people of integrity. There are people with the soul of the cannabis culture in their hearts. And that is what is really important to us, because one day the clubs are going to be legal. One day there's going to be a code of best practice that everybody can follow, no matter what their model.
Yeah.
But in the end, the purpose of the Dagga Private Club is the survival of cannabis culture. You know, it's survival of our tribe, people who've been using this plant for centuries and generations. And if we all stand together on the Dagga Private Club issue, then we've got a chance against all the big, for want of a better word, corporate, all the Canadians and the Israelis and everybody who's going to come and open a pot shop on every second corner. Our Dagga culture is very, very important to us, and that culture is always going to live on in the clubs. So and that's not happened anywhere in the world.
For sure.
So that's why it's very, very important to us.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we, unfortunately it's postponed for now, but hopefully there's a good outlook at it. It's end of April, right? That it's going to be seen again, and it's not guaranteed that it will happen that day. It could get postponed again.
It could, but it really depends upon, in times of COVID, there are many legal teams who will try and get round with representations and speaking to prosecutors and the state in the background. So there's lots of work to be done before the end of April. But if we hear anything, you guys and all of our network in the amazing Dagga media will be the first to know, Perfect. So if there's any updates, we'll let you know.
No, guys, so thank you so much for joining us and just sharing that information, and keep note of the key takeaways and stay safe, everybody at home. And thank you so much, Myrtle. Have a great day.
Thank you, Andy, and it's always lovely speaking to you.